Red FM.
No impact whatsoever. Fellas don't look. The cliche now with players is that they don't like looking back; it's looking forward, and that won't enter their heads on. It would be nice to get that monkey off our back, but it won't enter these guys' minds before they go out.
Yeah, you had plenty of experience yourself of playing against Kerry in the Championship, Joe. What are these Championship games like to play in? I was reading Darragh O'Shea in the Irish Times this week. He was saying that the first 10 minutes are always absolutely manic, and that you have fellas on both sides trying to wind up their opponents and that type of thing as well.
You have that, and with Galvin out tomorrow, that probably takes away a small bit from the piece that we'd have on the wing between Nolly and Galvin. And you would have some other, cornerbacks hanging off, corner forwards and that kind of stuff. But definitely the first 10 minutes, ball just zipping about the place, and fellas will try to get their hands on the ball and get to the pace of the game. But it kind of evens out then after that. But these Championship games do take on a world of their own, and you're going down there again tomorrow, and anything literally could happen.
Yeah, do you think the intensity of the Munster Championship games between Cork and Kerry, has that kind of died off a bit, given that I suppose their significance it's not as strong when it comes to the All-Ireland finals as we've seen in the last few years?
There's that thought out there, but I don't think so. Last year we did draw down in Killarney. Both teams are going right out to win that at the same time. Now, fair enough, Cork beat them by 7 or 8 points back up and down the park. So with 5 or 10 minutes to go, and you think the writing's on the wall, you in the back of your mind, you have the back door, but definitely before throwing tomorrow, and for 60 odd minutes of this game, it's going to be hell for leather.
Yeah, no, looking at the two starting lineups, Joe, no Anthony Lynch for Cork tomorrow, as we know. He's always taken up the job of marking the gooch, so it looks like it'll fall to Jamie O'Sullivan or Ray Carey. O'Sullivan is making his Championship debut. Ray Carey is still relatively new as well, even though he had such a good year last year, so it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out.
Yeah, I'd go for Carey to pick up the gooch. As you said, he has that bit more experience. O'Sullivan for me is still a bit raw, but it's in games like this we'll find out about players, so hopefully he can get this experience behind him and go on to better things. But I think Carey will pick him up, and then, as we know, we missed Carey last year in the All-Ireland final, possibly cost us. Yeah,
and I mentioned Jamie O'Sullivan there, Joe, but Aidan Walsh and Kieran Sheehan are also coming in for their debuts tomorrow. We've heard all about how good Kieran Sheehan is. Aidan Walsh looked very, very good in the league as well. And I suppose it's a sign of how strong the Cork panel is when you can bring in 3 guys for their Championship debuts tomorrow, especially when there was already such a strong panel there.
That's the thing, and it doesn't seem to weaken the team either. I'd possibly like to see Walsh at wing-back. I think he's a better wing-back, but he had a great league final, as you said. Different opposition now tomorrow, of course, so we'll see how he goes. And Kieran Sheehan is just a natural inside. He looks and runs for the ball, always showing, and can take his scores as well.
Yeah, no, speaking of that strength and depth, Joe, do you think Cork will have an advantage there over Kerry? You look at the Cork bench for tomorrow. Colm O'Neill is on the bench, John Hayes is there, Fintan Gould, Derek Kavanagh, John Miskela, Ger Spillane is there as well. All guys who are capable of coming on and making an impact.
That's the one thing they have, their strength and depth, and any of those guys could come in tomorrow without weakness inside. Kerry don't look to be as strong on the bench. A couple of guys that could come in, young fellas like Keane and BJ Walsh up front, but these guys are light for inter-county standards at this stage, and these guys, we won't probably see the best of these guys for 2 or 3 years down the line, but so definitely Cork had an advantage there.
Yeah, and we've seen so many times in the past, Joe, as I said, that what happens in the Munster Championship doesn't necessarily have an impact on who wins the All-Ireland. But how keen will Conor Coonahan be to avoid the back door this year? Because it's not an easy route, and Kerry found that out last year, even though they did go on to win the All-Ireland. It was a tricky route for them to come through.
It is. It's just you don't need these things, week after week trying to rally the players in the dressing room. And if Cork win tomorrow, they have 4 weeks to Limerick or Waterford, which they should get through no matter what happens, So, and then you're into the All-Ireland quarter-final the August weekend. So why take on the added pressure of 3 games, maybe up in Longford, up in Ballygofair or somewhere like that, when go all out tomorrow, get the victory, and you're more or less looking at the August weekend.
Yeah, no, we've seen obviously Kerry have lost a lot of players from last year, Joe. There are 5 changes to the side that started the All-Ireland final. Dermot Murphy, Darragh O'Shea, Ty Kennelly and Tommy Walsh are no longer available, obviously. And Paul Galvin, as you mentioned, is on the bench because of injury. It's still a very strong Kerry team as well, but how do you see them coping with so many losses, because they were all massive players for Kerry last year?
They're big name players, and it's very hard to lose a couple of players like that and try to maintain it. But the one thing I will say is that they still have the 6 defenders that started in last year's All-Ireland final, and we know Cork didn't perform last year after the first quarter hour. So Cork up front need to be a bit imaginative tomorrow. You still have Scanlon, who's forming into a great midfielder, and I mean, the inside forward line is going to do huge damage for Kerry. So they're still experienced. There's a wealth of experience through that Kerry side. They're missing a few players, granted, but that's where Cork probably have to step up now and see how they can push on and limit Kerry to as much possession as they can and push on and get a result.
Yeah, and probably the main talking point of the championship so far, Joe, has been the hand pass rule, the new hand pass rule. What are your own views on that?
I mean, fair enough. I think it's up to a referee to call it as he sees it. There are some passes that look as if you're throwing, especially when you're falling to the ground and you're throwing it off, But I mean, there's some balls, a centre forward or a full forward, or wherever you're playing, you get a ball and there's a guy zipping past you. It's just a slight touch. For all the world, it looks like a throw, but you're actually still giving a striking action, but you're moving your hand 2 or 3 inches, so the referee doesn't see that. Mm-hmm. So I think it's up to the referee to call it. I mean, if there's a move going and the fella's offloading the ball as fast as that, he has to let it go. Bar the ones, obviously, as I said, that it looks like a blatant throw, and let the game go on.
Yeah, is it the kind of thing that could affect a player's performance going into the game? Because normally you're just trying to focus on another big championship game, but it's a little niggly thing at the back of your mind that you're trying to make sure that you're getting these little things right, and it could affect your mindset in such a big game as well.
It definitely would. The only thing, they've had a good number of weeks now of practice with it, but I mean, you're getting the ball there and you're thinking offload it here, but then you're thinking in your own mind, you can see the referee and he's watching you like a hawk. So the only bonus is they've had 4, 5, 6 weeks now of practicing, and they should have no problems.
Yeah, no, just getting back to tomorrow, Joe, we all know that last year was ultimately a disappointing one from a Cork perspective. Looking at the panel that's there now and looking at how dominant Cork were in the league, would you agree that anything less than an All-Ireland final victory this year would be a disappointment for Cork?
It will be, and even amongst the players, not just the supporters. It's easy for us to say these guys are putting in all the effort. They're training 9-10 months of the year and putting their lives on hold, but they will be devastated totally. I mean, as we said, if they don't get over tomorrow, fair enough, they have the added bonus of going the back door route, but at the end of it, a lot of these guys have lost 2 All-Irelands to Kerry, and they want to put that right. They want to get up there and win that Celtic cross, because ultimately that's what it's all about.
Yeah, just very finally, Joe, what's your prediction for tomorrow's game? How do you see it going?
It's going to be a tough one. I mean, anyone going down there thinking that we swan through the league and Cork are the next best thing to come and win an All-Ireland, it's not going to be that easy. It's going to be tough down there, like every Cork-Kerry game. But, as we said, the few players that Kerry are missing and the strength of Cork's bench, I can see them coming out in the end by 3 or 4 points.